nuclear enrichment, which would be less than the 20-year ban President Trump previously said he didn't like. There would be limits of 4% enrichment after that. There would be a ban on underground nuclear facilities, a vow to never seek a nuclear weapon, commitment to enhanced nuclear inspections, and an end to restrictions on travel through the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump, though, is telling the New York Post it's too soon right now to schedule a new round of in-person talks with Iran. So this is a very high-stakes game of telephone.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. Iran's foreign ministry says it's still considering the U.S. proposal, but oil prices already plunging on renewed hope for a deal, rallying stocks. The Dow up 544 points. He was a news pioneer. Ted Turner has died. He founded CNN and the 24-hour news cycle in 1980.
Known for his brash, outspoken nature that earned him the nickname Captain Outrageous, the Atlanta businessman built a media company that created cable channels including TBS, TNT, Turner Classic Movies, and Cartoon Network. Turner owned the Atlanta Braves for 20 years and was also known for his philanthropy. In 2018, a month before his 80th birthday, he revealed a diagnosis of Lewy body dementia, a progressive brain disorder. He leaves behind 5 children, 14 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Ted Turner was 87. Turner Enterprises says he died peacefully today, surrounded by family. President Trump calling him one of the greats of all time and a friend. Just posting Turner was there whenever he needed him, always willing to fight for a good cause. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect variable cloudiness with a high temperature of 57. Tonight will be partly cloudy and chilly with a low of 40. Tomorrow, there will be times of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower in the area during the afternoon and a high of 60. Moving on to Friday, anticipate variable clouds with a couple of showers and a high of 63. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Sean Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Firago, the immune enhancement cocktail.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea. We were meant to live free. Free to pursue our future, work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, it might be time to declare your independence from pain. I tried everything and anything to help me get rid of my pain, and nothing freed me. It just masked the pain, and the side effects diminished my quality of life. I'm sure you have been there if you have real bad pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that is designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. And it is not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor. It was created for people to get back to living their life on their terms. Is that you? Walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter? This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take your stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today. $19.95, 3-week quick start. Ready for you right now. Visit relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Well, Amy, I got to tell you, I think we need 2 hours because there's so much news to cover in this state.
Oh, yeah. We have a great show for you this morning. You're going to love it.
Well, we're going to turn first, though, to energy because it is the master resource. And, the Chicago Tribune just wrote another headline story about Central and Southern Illinois. They're going to have to look forward to paying higher energy costs again. And why is this? Because these guys are doubling down on energy that doesn't work. And that would be wind and solar. And so, let's listen to Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Here's what he said about wind and solar subsidies.
July 4th is going to be the end of a bunch of those federal tax credits for wind and solar production. They ended as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. They are ending, I should say. And you've already got Democrats out there saying that this is playing into prices. It's raising prices, electricity prices across the country, that is going to get worse when they officially go away in July. What's your response to that?
Oh, the exact opposite is true. They are the most destructive subsidies I have seen in my life. Now, I'm not a subsidy scholar. I've been in government for 15 months. But as a businessman looking from it afar, it is hard to overstate how destructive these subsidies are. To me, a bad subsidy is you've subsidized something for $1 and you get 70 cents a benefit. That's inefficient. We're wasting money. With wind and solar, we subsidize it for $1. The taxpayers pay that $1, and we lose probably another $1 in the fact that that $1 that we paid is making your electricity prices more expensive. We lose, you subsidize $100 billion, and we lose $200 billion.
Okay, so that was Chris Wright. He was talking with Kimberly Strassel. That was just from 2 weeks ago. Kimberly Strassel is with the Wall Street Journal. She writes on their editorial page. But guess what? While those subsidies are going away at the federal level, and you heard him July 4th as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill that passed last year, in Illinois, it is a different situation. Instead of understanding the reality of wind and solar and the fact that you cannot run a modern economy on those, J.B. Pritzker and his Democrats are doubling down on this, and it is impacting real people all the time. Well, one particular county that is really going to be suffering in the future is Will County, because they're going to lose, as we've reported here before, 900 megawatts of natural gas power simply because J.B. Pritzker doesn't like it.
And he doesn't. Then what are they going to do?
Oh, well, they're putting in solar panels.
Oh, and that's not going to work because it's not always sunny.
Oh, they've got massive solar panels, industrial solar farms planned. And here to discuss that is Will County Board member Judy Ogalla. Judy, thank you so much for joining us on The Real Story. Tell us what is going on.
Hey, thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. Well, funny thing is we talked briefly yesterday, and in the mail, I've got this postcard from Arena Renewables as a leading solar developer in Will County, and they have it right here in black and white. We can offer $3,800 an acre to lease or $40,000 an acre to purchase. So this is the type of money that's out there in Will County. And we are seeing two major projects, one in the Crete area, which is like a 2,600 acre project. And that will be producing, here, I have it here. It's called Plum Valley application. It's 260 megawatts for 2,400 acres. And in the Manhattan area, it's called Pride of the Prairie. It's 600 megawatts for 6,100 acres. So we are losing this farmland forever. And part of this land is being bought by private equity firms from out of state. One is from Texas. They own hundreds and hundreds of acres. And then the rest they are leasing from farmers for up to 35, 40, even 50 years. So it's pretty detrimental to the ag community and the environment.
But essentially, these guys are getting like $3,500 plus per acre for 40 years. There's no way that math makes sense unless those companies are getting massive subsidies from the government. That's the only way it makes sense. And you just heard from Secretary Wright, we're paying for that as taxpayers.
Yes, that's the sad thing. And here in Illinois, with J.B. Pritzker and his group of people down in Springfield who want this big push for green energy and everybody off the fossil fuels, it's really becoming an impact to us here. I mean, Earthrise, I've heard that they were paying even higher lease and purchase prices than what I said.
So a farmer that has, prior to this, had to put in a lot of effort to raise the crops on that farm ground, till the field, plant the corn, fertilize it, harvest it. I mean, nearly a year-round operation to make this happen. They now can instead just get $3,500 an acre off of and sell out to a solar farm and go retire in Florida. And for 40 years, they're going to be multi-millionaires, and they'll have generational wealth by selling out to a solar farm. That's what we're looking at here. All subsidized on the backs of taxpayers.
That's exactly the problem. I have a friend. He's from the Wilton Township area, and Earthrise approached them and said, "Hey, we would like to run an easement for putting power lines for connectivity through your property." And it would be maybe 100 feet wide for half a mile. And they said, no, we're not interested in it. I said, okay, well, we'll come back and we'll just do 50 feet wide for that half mile. And the whole time during the conversation back and forth with phone calls and then sometimes some visits, they kept switching gears to, first we'd like to get an easement. The landowner said, no, we don't want the land disturbed. They're fifth generational farmers. So then they went ahead and said, well, okay, well, how about if we cut it to 50 feet wide? And then they said, no, we'd want you to bore it. They looked into boring. They're like, well, boring costs too much money. We're not going to be able to do that. And so they went from a couple $100,000 for this property, which was not much, a half a mile for 100 feet, then went down to 50 feet. And they ended up with the final offer of $3 million. So $3 million for 50-foot wide easement for a half a mile. And these farmers, sat down amongst themselves as generational farmers and said, you know what, we're not going to do it. We don't believe in it. We believe in protecting our land. And they said no. But unfortunately, many, many, many farmers and landowners that are maybe absentee landowners said yes. And so we are facing these monstrosity solar facilities here in Will County that will end up taking nearly 10,000 acres of productive farmland out of production.
Well, since Governor Pritzker is such a megalomaniac, do you think there'd be any eminent domain where they say, we're offering you this money. If you don't take it, we're going to take it from you anyway?
So I don't know that he would. I mean, I could see him doing that because he seems, wanting to do anything to get his way. But I don't think he would need to do that. It seems as though there's enough people willing to sell. You figure some people, 4 or 5 siblings inherited the property. They're not all interested in farming, so they end up selling the land and moving. Many of them have moved elsewhere. And some from the Crete area, they got whatever amount, I'm not sure exactly, but somewhere in the 35, I've heard, to 60,000 an acre to purchase it. And then they've gone to another part of the county and they've purchased way more land because farmland doesn't sell anywhere near at that price.
$35,000 to $60,000 an acre to flat out sell it rather than lease it over 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's unreal.
That landowner I talked to you about, that they wanted to put that easement, they offered him $40,000 an acre to purchase 100 acres.
Okay, so, but none of this actually makes sense. So we're losing literally, and the Chicago Tribune, to their credit, I mean, late to the game, hello, editorial board. Back in 2021, when they passed CJ, you should have known that this was a pretty stupid bill. But to their credit, they wrote about this, 1,350 megawatt Elwood energy facility. 2/3 of it is getting taken down. 900 megawatts is going to get loaded onto a flatbed truck and shipped to Texas, where it's going to start up as a natural gas plant there. So you're not changing the climate whatsoever if you think that's a problem. By the way, natural gas is pretty clean burning. And so 900 megawatts of power are of reliable power is walking out of Will County. And now you just gave us 600 megawatts and 240 megawatts, but that is the installed capacity. You have to cut that down by 2/3 to actually get the real output. And so net, you are at a loss, even if they put the solar in. It is a boondoggle.
It's definitely a boondoggle. And it's very sad for those of us like on the county board, where the legislation what they passed in Springfield originally was for community solar. It seemed like a reasonable thing. If a farmer wanted to put 30, 40 acres of their land on their solar into solar for community solar, that's one thing. But then to go with these industrial solar, and I'm a farmer myself. My husband and I farm, and I personally do not support non-agricultural use on A1 zoning. I think that's wrong. I think that it's beyond greedy and beyond the scope of what should be happening from Springfield. But they put this legislation in first to pass this taking away our powers in 23, and then this new one that just goes into effect this June 1st, taking away more powers that we cannot deny it. We recently had received the results from some solar lawsuits. We had denied 8 different solar facilities in Will County, mostly because of the fact that they were too close to rural residential areas. So they filed a lawsuit. The solar developers filed a lawsuit. They got bundled together, and we got the decision from the judge. It basically said that we needed to approve all of these because the state has taken away our rights to deny them. So that's pretty significant. And we had our meeting and we were told that, we need to vote yes, because if we don't vote yes, we could be held in contempt of court. We might face fines, not only at the county board level, but also personal level, and we would have to get our own attorneys. Now, for me, when it came to the vote, I voted no. And, people were asking, well, why would you do that? Why would you risk it? And I said, I wasn't elected by the people who I represent to just keel over. And I'm not voting for any bad law that they pass out of Springfield. I believe that this law is unconstitutional, and I hope that a lawsuit gets filed to challenge that.
Okay, so I want to remind people of exactly what happened in 2022 when Governor Pritzker was running again for re-election. He specifically was asked whether or not he would keep in place local zoning rules around wind and solar developments. And he said yes. And then no sooner was he elected when he completely changed course, because he wants more wind and solar, and he knows that it wasn't coming in place because people didn't want it near where they live. They did not want it in their counties, and the county boards were refusing this. So instead, he made it a statewide law that all that zoning goes to the state. So, that's what's going on here, and now you're seeing the result of it. And so they have no choices. These county boards can't necessarily disapprove some of the development going in. It's industrial scale, big development. I just want to, we're kind of out of time right now. I have so much more to talk to you about, though. I do want to remind people, though, that you told me also that they're basically, the solar owners are buying off local NGOs and pretending that they're do-gooders around the community, when in fact they're just destroying communities.
They're absolutely right. I call it bribe money, hush money, whatever it is. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
All right, well,
thanks so much
familiar
for
with
having
that,
me. I
yes.
wish we had more time to talk, but I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy Ogalla, Will County Board member. Thank you so much for joining us on The Real Story.
And coming up, how to get out of a DUI charge. Well, if you're a Democrat politician, we'll explain.
Subscribe to the Real Story podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at 560theanswer.com.
You smell that? Spring. Hibernation's over. It's time to run it. Run it until the grass becomes lawn and the hedges duck and cover. Then, run it again. Steele, get up to $50 off select AK battery tool sets. Offer valid for limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Let me ask you something. Does your garage floor look bad? Covered in salt, cracked, or stained from the winter's brutal blast? Well, I've got a fix for you so you can start enjoying your garage this spring. Contact my good friends at Level 10 Coatings. Level 10 brought my garage floor from dirty and gross to showroom, shiny new in just one day. Level 10 Coatings can do the same for you. A quick and easy fix, permanent durable solution. Guaranteed to never chip or peel. Get it done now so you can enjoy your garage this spring and summer. Schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, for $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com. Level10coatings.com or call 855-510-2628. Again, that's 855-510-2628. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
The mainstream media isn't just biased. They're hiding stories from you, deliberately. Restoration News is changing that. With elite researchers and fearless writers, Restoration News is the conservative media force fighting back in the information war for America's future. Download the Restoration News mobile app today or visit restoration-news.com. That's restoration-news.com. Real stories, real truth. It's time you knew what they don't want you to know.
You know the feeling. That rush when you reach that goal. Make somebody brag a little back home. That's success. And at University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why UMGC offers an accredited skills-based education that helps move your career forward. We'll teach you how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science, plus build your skills in leadership, communication, and critical thinking. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. With affordable and online programs, you can unlock new opportunities to help you succeed again. At UMGC, success is yours for the taking and the making, and nothing should keep you from it, especially not an application fee. Apply now and we'll waive your application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
AM 560, The Answer.
A not guilty plea for Cook County Board of Review Commissioner Samantha Steele. They set the tax rates. You know, they're a pretty powerful job, and a lot of people didn't even know what that was, who she was, but she let people know who she was when she was allegedly drunk, had an open bottle of wine in her car, and smashed into two parked cars on Ashland and Montrose. Could have killed somebody. Luckily, she didn't, and it's this one of those, don't you know who I am?
She says she knows you. She said you texted her.
Me. She's my friend.
Okay, so exit the vehicle then.
No, I'm not leaving the vehicle.
Ma'am, if you don't exit the vehicle, I'm going to help you to exit. And you don't want that.
You don't want that.
Oh, I
I'm
do.
an elected official.
I actually do. Elected official of what?
Cook County.
Cook County. You elected which office? What's your name?
I'm Sam.
Sam who?
Hey, Sarge.
Sam, I am.
Okay for a friend? Tell Sam.
So it goes on. I mean, nobody knows who she was
I'm Sam.
until now. And yesterday, with the help of a judge who was taken out of retirement Judge Suriano, who retired back in 2019, I believe. They brought him out of retirement to do this case because they were low on judges. She requested a bench trial, so she didn't have a jury. She was found not guilty. A man who was there for the entire 2-day trial, Frank Calabrese, former Cook County Board of Review Commissioner, employee. He worked for Samantha Steele before she fired him, and that's a whole other story. But let's talk about the trial. Frank, welcome to The Real Story. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we have a lot to get to. So talk about what was the biggest shocker of the trial.
Well, not only, there's the video, but then she went to the hospital and, they couldn't record her when she was in the hospital for privacy laws, but she was insulting the police officer in the hospital. There was an Asian police officer that arrested her, and she was insulting his genitalia. And that was, in the testimony, during the 2-day trial. And, the nurse was testifying about it, the doctor, and, it was kind of a circus. It was really a real strange trial.
So how did this judge, why did they pull him out of retirement?
So in Cook County, it's a big, obviously it's a big county, and there is this shortage of judges. I think a lot of judges retired because there was some sort of pension issue. If you retire by a certain date, you get a better pension. And so that created a shortage of judges. So they needed the recall some judges. So this judge, Suriano, retired in 2016. So he's been out of the game for a while. And now he hears traffic cases.
Well, you said he appeared senile. He's old. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of him right now. But he found her not guilty. And why? You had a doctor testify. You had police officers testify. You had ER nurses testify that she was drunk, but she would not submit to a urine test or a blood test. And is this the new way to get out of a DUI?
Yeah, there were 7 witnesses, which is kind of ridiculous for a DUI. So, if usually DUIs, there's 1 or 2 witnesses, just like the police officer. But, the state, they brought on 7 witnesses, 4 police officers, 1 event, the person that she hit a parked car, and and he saw it. He actually saw her hit him from the window. And, the nurse, the doctor, a medical doctor testified that her medical diagnosis was that she was intoxicated, and he still found her not guilty.
But why? What was it? Why?
He said that there was suspicion, that she was intoxicated, but it was not reasonable, beyond a reasonable doubt. So, it was not his standard, or it was not his standard of evidence.
Well, could the prosecutors come back and appeal that decision? Because I think this is a travesty, and anybody else would have been found guilty.
So, yeah, I agree with you. It's a travesty, but when you're found not guilty, that's just kind of the end. So you can appeal if you're found guilty. You can appeal, all the way up. But when you're found not guilty, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Well, why wasn't she forced to take a urine or a blood sample? And what about the open bottle of wine in her car, allegedly?
Yeah, can't they charge her for that one?
So the police, this is the thing about Chicago police. They don't really do DUIs, right? So Chicago police, they respond to, serious things, right? Shootings, violence, things like that. To get a DUI in Chicago, you really have to hit someone, right? They don't do DUI stops and stuff like that.
So he never wrote it on the ticket.
Right. So they're not really trained to do DUIs like police in the suburbs or downstate. So they didn't. So they made some paperwork mistakes. So that's why she didn't lose her license initially, because they made a paperwork mistake.
Oh, my gosh. Another one gone. I mean, this is just a travesty. It's an obvious abuse of power, and she's still in office until December. She got voted out in the primary, so she will have to pay with her job eventually. Frank Calabrese, thank you so much for joining us, political consultant, and he joined us on The Real Story.
We'll be right back with the watchdogs. What about that new Auditor General in Illinois?
For over a decade, AM 560 has marked the start of summer with a night of cigar smoking and great conversation. And this year, we're proud to welcome the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News to Cigar Night. He's Alex Marlowe, and he'll join AM 560's Dan Proft and Sean Thompson on Tuesday, May 19th at Gobert's Farm in Pingree Grove for a night you won't forget. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Donley Auctions.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Pelosi. Iran says it's renewing or reviewing a U.S. proposal to end the war after President Trump paused Project Freedom.
We are getting close, a source with mediator Pakistan tells Reuters. This as Iran confirms it's looking at a memorandum of understanding sent by the U.S. aimed at bringing the conflict to a close. The country's Revolutionary Guards also responded, saying if U.S. threats had ended, passage through the Strait of Hormuz would be possible under new conditions.
It's Fox's Jonathan Savage, the father of 24-hour news cycle Ted Turner, has died.
Known for his brash, outspoken nature that earned him the nickname Captain Outrageous, the Atlanta businessman built a media company that created cable channels including TBS, TNT, Turner Classic Movies, and Cartoon Network. Turner owned the Atlanta Braves for 20 years and was also known for his philanthropy.
America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect variable cloudiness with a high temperature of 57. Tonight will be partly cloudy and chilly with a low of 40. Tomorrow, anticipate times of clouds and sun with a chance of a shower in the area in the afternoon and a high of 60. Moving into Friday, there will be variable clouds with a couple of showers expected and a high of 63. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best.
Temperatures are rising, and so are concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this summer. VestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through VestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and VestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. VestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
The Stephanie Trussell Show speaks to the heart of where you live, work, and raise your family. Every week, Stephanie brings you the conversations that matter most, from our local neighborhoods to the halls of Springfield, covering the local issues and the real solutions. Stephanie sits down with the local leaders, candidates, and everyday heroes who are fighting to make Illinois a place you're proud to call home. Stephanie is your community, your voice. The Stephanie Trussell Show, heard Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. right here on AM 560, The Answer.
All right, you know I do not push products I don't believe in. So listen up, because this one I love and recommend friends and listeners to. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Dr. Huber has been on the show a few times. He's the creator of Virago, stands behind his product. And let me tell you, he knows his immune health like nobody's business. He has made it his life's work, his life's passion. He explained to Jeannie and I, the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. I swish Virago around in my mouth when I had really bad allergies and a cold, and it was great. This is why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutrichemicals, and I messed that word up again, working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in with my orange juice, and I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
Only a few short months ago, you heard silver was up 40%. Well, silver is now up over 260%. Fox Valley Coins saw it coming, and they're ready to help. Unlike dealers that only buy or only sell, Fox Valley Coins does both. No middleman. That means you get the best deal on the dollar. Selling? Fox Valley Coins pays top dollar for rare coins, scrap gold and silver, bars, proof sets, and entire collections of any size, going through every item right in front of you. Cash, check, or wire transfer. All major gold, silver, and platinum physical products. Complete discretion. Your business. Family-owned integrity since 1981 on Route 59. Fox Valley Coins. Buy smart, sell smart.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
All right, 312-642-5600, Watchdog. Go to Mike in Yorkville. You're on The Real Story. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, ladies.
Hello.
You know, I don't even want to know the name of this. You know, let's put it this way. Throughout suspicious of whether or not that conviction is true. With this going on, this taints the whole judicial system in the state of Illinois when you have anything like that. With many others, how many conservatives have we seen that have fought against our state, that they have used the full weight of the state and its powers against them judicially to get them convicted on stuff that normally nobody would ever get convicted on, or even brought charges? See the corruption. Everybody does. It wasn't fooling anybody. And stop that. I have a friend that's been convicted of DUI. If he had a judge like this.
Well, it's is listening to testimony from an accomplished doctor, 3 police officers. They're police officers. They're sworn in to uphold the law, and he doesn't believe them. So in the end, he said, no sobriety test, no blood, no urine test, not guilty.
Well, quite frankly, it's just another, attack on police. Yep. That's what it is. It's attack on police. So.
But the police were correct in this.
I know they were
correct in their actions, what they did, and everybody should be looking at that in what you have. What you have is a definite part to this judicial system where I've even had conservative lawyers that I've known. They said they cannot fight the way they should because they have to still deal business with these people that are corrupt.
Yeah. Well, hey, Mike, I want you to keep listening because we cover Illinois corruption every single Wednesday with our watchdogs. And so keep on listening because you're going to even hear more. All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies.
You bet. We're going to go to John really quickly, Clarendon Hills, about decarbonization. Welcome to the program, John.
Hi. Thanks. I was looking at this morning at the electrical generation mix. And 90% of it was natural gas, nuclear, and coal. 6.5% was from solar and wind.
Yeah.
So I liken Illinois energy policy to Jonestown, and solar and wind are the Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They have totally drunk the Kool-Aid, John. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your comment. Yeah. That's exactly what's going on here. It's all hysteria all the time over climate change. All right. Okay. Now we've got the watchdogs. We have John and Kirk on. And gentlemen, we have a new Auditor General. But before we get to the new Auditor General, I think it's really important to remind the audience of the current Auditor General, Frank Martino. He's now retired just recently. But, he got appointed back in 2016, and there was scandal all around him, and nobody said a word. 10 of us voted no in the House against his appointment. I was one of the 10. And I also wrote about his pension. But let's get into a little bit more before we get to his pension, because I think it's really important to understand what he's going to get out of this grift. I think it's really understand who Frank Martino is, because you two were the tip of the spear for revealing Frank Martino in the malfeasance related to his campaign account. In my opinion, he should have never, ever had the position of Auditor General after what he was found to have done with his campaign account by the Illinois courts, and yet nothing was done. Gentlemen, take it away.
Boy, I tell you, Jeannie, thanks for having us, but where do you start? I mean, this was clear back in 2016, all over a simple publication that the local reporting in Springfield, they interviewed him about his, new position, and he made a reference that he was in the middle of destroying his campaign records. And John and I, flipped out. It's like, well, you can't destroy campaign records. That there's certain requirements there. So we captured them all, and that's where it all began. And I mean, just the expenditures to one little gas station, $200 and some odd $1,000, and then another $273,000 to a local bank. And when you start looking at them, it was all whole. Most of it was whole numbers, which any auditor will look at and go, "Wow, that's a red flag." Just loans that were, loan payments and loan payoffs. None of the match. There's no reconciliation. There was no matching of those balances, and it wasn't with. I'm going to guess about 3, maybe 4 weeks after we first broke that story, it got the attention of the U.S. Attorney's Office, and an investigation started, and he went silent, pled the fifth on everything during his hearings, with the complaints that were filed against him. And long story short, nobody did anything, even after the Supreme Court ruled that their campaign violated, the state law, and his case got dismissed by our great state board of elections, unfortunately, through a unanimous decision, because they said the campaign didn't knowingly violate the law.
But here's what you wrote back in the day, Kirk. You guys wrote this. This is from your work. Martino spent $213,338.31 on fuel and repairs for his campaign vehicle between March 2005 and December 2015. Even more if you go back a few more years. His campaign itemized expenditure reporting indicates $20,914 of the $213,000 was used specifically for gas purchases during the same time frame, all from the same gas station, Happy's Super Service Station. Using the very figures from his itemized expenditures covering 10 years and 9 months, Martino's expenditure averages approximately $54.42 of campaign money every day during that time frame for gas and repairs to his campaign vehicle. But think about that. $54.42 every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year for 10 years and 9 months. Is there anyone in this state that spends $54.42 a day on fuel and repairs every day of the year for 10 years? How many brand new vehicles could have been purchased with that kind of money that have full warranty, which means no repair costs? That's what you wrote. That was the extent. This was all a scam. He was a scam. And by the way, here's who Martino is. He was a state rep. He got his job as a gift for being a loyal soldier for Mike Madigan. He was a state rep for 24 years. He was appointed to the position after his father died while in office. Prior to holding the position of state rep, he helped the family distribution business, beer distribution. He had no education in finance, accounting, government law, or any other area that would give him credibility to hold the position of Auditor General, a position commonly referred to as the state's watchdog. And yet he was elected among his peers to hold that position. And now that he holds it, he's looking at a starting pension
of what?
At least $133,000, at least.
I think you'll find it's probably going to be more than that, because last year he brought in $207,000 in salary.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it's 85% of that start. That's what his pension's going to be.
So, I mean, it's unbelievable. And the sad part is the whole system failed. There was zero accountability. And, the fine that was initially issued to the campaign, well, if they don't pay it, they can never run for office again. Well, does he really care? He's never running for office ever again. So there was just no justice anywhere across the board on this. And it took, 6 years? I believe it was a total 6 years from first exposure to final decision. It was, that time frame. How do you get justice when it's a 6-year span? 4 different resolutions in the House of Representatives to remove him. It was never called to a vote a single time.
Yeah,
how can any one of those people, I don't care what side of the aisle, how can you look look a person in the eye and say, this person should be in charge of our auditing system in the state?
Yeah, well, the campaign
it's beyond
malfeasance.
comprehension.
Yeah, I mean, it went on and on, right? You're talking about $200,000 to that had expenditures from the bank for expenditures that were from a bank that are not even related to the campaign bank account, and who knows what he was doing with it.
Well, and that's an interesting part of the process. When they subpoenaed those records, since they didn't provide them, they couldn't make a determination as to whether any of those transactions violated anything. Well, where is the legal action for not responding to the subpoena?
So then he closed out his campaign account because they did fine him, but he closed out his campaign account and said, well, the campaign account's defunct and I'm not personally liable for any of the campaign issues. And so I'm just going to continue on in my $156,000 Auditor General role. That was when he started. 10 years later, now we know it's $205,000. And so his pension will be calculated on that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is he remorseful at all?
He won't answer questions.
No, I'm sure you're right.
And it's interesting because there was a letter that the state representatives had sent him. I think there were 16 of you guys. I think you were there during that time, Jeannie.
I was.
And I FOIA'd that letter. And instead of giving me a copy of the letter, he buried me, or their office buried me, with 6,600 pages of documents. And I had to literally go through every single page and prove he didn't give me the letter that I was seeking. And I sued him in Edgar County, and we won. They admitted in the answer to the complaint he violated FOIA. What was the repercussions for that? This is supposed to be our transparent watchdog for the state, and he literally took 6,600 pieces of paper, put them into a PDF file, and said, here's your response, knowing darn good and well the record I requested was not provided. I didn't ask for all those other records.
Did you plow through all 6,600 pages in that PDF file?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. And I printed all 6,600, and I filed a FOIA complaint in Sangamon County as well. I had to have him served in Sangamon County. And when I walked in there with 4 binders of documents, I thought, you're going to bury me in paperwork? Let's play. Game on. And we won our case here in Edgar County. He admitted, I think it was answer number 10 in the answer to the complaint, he admitted they violated FOIA. But what happens? There's no repercussion. There's no punishment.
Yeah, no. I mean,
but he was our Auditor General for 10 years, and now we get to pay for the rest of his life, we get to pay his salary or his retirement check.
And it's massive, and it goes up 3% every single year because he's a tier 1. And he only got the job because his dad died in office and then became a Madigan accolade, did anything Madigan wanted. And only 10 of us knew what was going on, told other people, but no, bipartisan Republicans. There wasn't a single Republican senator that voted against Martino. It was only 10 members of the House. We had our little cabal back in the day. And this guy's retiring with a massive pension. It's such a travesty. I mean, he's just getting away with so much malfeasance behind him.
Well, and case in point, nothing's been fixed. We have a new Auditor General now. Did anybody look at his track record?
Well, I did.
He was in charge of the Illinois Finance Authority, and he wasn't complying with the law in his own capacity as the director of the Illinois Finance Authority. Why would you appoint someone with that kind of track record?
Yeah, his name is Chris Meister. Yep. And even the retiring Auditor General, Frank Martino, which really it's not Frank. He's the headline name, but his people do the work. His office, though, about the IFA, led by Checkmans, they did a 2-year review period, and they said that he did not do an internal audit program at all at the Illinois Finance Authority at all. And it's a complete malfeasance by this guy, and now he's going to take over.
And the other point of that finding of that Illinois Finance Authority, the internal controls over allowable costs and activities, it's tied directly to the federal CFR on federal grants. And they didn't have the proper internal controls to manage federal grants. What's happening in Minnesota?
Yeah.
What's happening in California? All these places, these block grants get shoved down to the state. They say, you're supposed to do this. Well, they weren't doing it, and nobody was policing it. So how do we know we didn't have massive grant fraud right there in the Illinois Finance Authority? We don't know.
No, it's just remarkable. You can't make it up. Not a bit.
And these are the very agencies that are supposed to be policing all of this spending. And when this lack of oversight, lack of checks and balances continues, I mean, how many reports have we read, Jeannie, from the audit reports from this office? And they find all kinds of things. There's never a referral for prosecution, and there's findings after findings after findings, year after year after year, and zero accountability.
No, the NIU president gets off the hook. The COD former president gets off the hook. You name it. Multiple employees that you've talked about that are found in audits, they get off the hook. Nobody gets prosecuted. Nobody actually gets sent to jail for violating the law.
I got a phone call this morning. I got a phone call this morning regarding a state police investigation that's taking place in Shelby County. And the shocking phrase that came out of the police was, "We don't want you to get your hopes up. We understand you have was probably a viable complaint. However, if the state's attorneys don't do anything, there's nothing we can do about it. And more often than not, state's attorneys won't prosecute." How many times have we talked about that?
I think every time we have you on, we talk about that.
We live that here.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I mean, Tiffany Henyard. How come Cook County State's Attorney's Office has not ever charged Tiffany Henyard?
Or our Illinois Attorney General, Kwame Raoul.
Right.
Yeah, there's maybe if Samantha Steele had gone in front of a federal court on a DUI charge, she would have gotten
it's a state charge. Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying we only can rely on the federal courts to clean up any corruption here. So, all right.
Unfortunately, that's been that way for many years.
Yep. Okay, hey John, we're going to get to your stories next week. I know we want to talk about Proviso Township. So we're going to talk about that next week. And I want to thank you so much for giving us a little bit more history on the outgoing Auditor General, and then also letting us know that the incoming Auditor General is also getting hired, and it doesn't sound like he's qualified either. All right. Thanks a lot. We'll be right back.
This is the show that the Chicago Press Corps and the Democrats in Springfield don't want you to hear. It's the real story on AM 560. The Answer.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and covered selections.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
John was an active man. He'd go for runs, walk the golf course, and always take the stairs instead of the elevator. But then bone-on-bone knee pain got in the way. Ow! And affected his mobility. It became too painful to even go for walks. And when it seemed like John's only option was knee replacement surgery, a friend told him about the Joint Relief Institute and their affordable, non-surgical knee pain relief. John met with the Joint Relief Institute and discovered their lubricating gel treatment could rejuvenate his lost cartilage. Safe, effective, no surgery. Long story short, John is now back to being active. without pain or medication.
There is an alternative to knee replacement surgery. Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, 312-642-5600. Let's go to Roger on the south side. Good morning, Roger. How are you?
Hi, girls. Can you imagine if that old judge they brought back, I wonder if that guy winds up going into cardiac arrest. The prick would go call up Steele and said, you better go see that guy, and you know what you have to do. And she whipped out the tatas. That went down. And that woman is shameless like the rest of these Democrats. Come on, she doesn't even live in the state. It's systematic corruption. Like I said, it's almost hilarious. You couldn't shame these people.
Well, who doesn't live in the state? What are you talking about? Tiffany Henyard?
That woman. No, our girl Steele.
Samantha Steele doesn't live in the state?
No, she lives here. She lives in Cook County. And I know that because she tried to get her property taxes reduced. But she didn't use her name. Oh, hold on. Let me finish. Allegedly, she used her partner's name, who they share the same title on the mortgage. So see how that works? Like she tried to help. Can you imagine a politician abusing power and trying to help themselves before the people?
Like pulling the toilets out of your second mansion for a $300,000 property tax break?
Yeah. Can you imagine people doing that?
People are scamming on their property taxes?
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Well,
absolutely.
We don't have any. We don't. Like I said, when's the last time that anybody knew who the U.S. attorney? When we had Fitzgerald, good or bad, we knew who he was, and you know what? If something went down, they were looking at it. When's the last time you could rattle off who the U.S. attorney was of the Northern District here? And the bad thing about it is we're a year and a half into the new administration and they haven't done it. If they wanted Cook County and Chicago cleaned up, they'd send the right U.S. attorney here. We're being let down from the top, unfortunately. Sorry to be the glass half empty on a Wednesday, girls, but yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yes. All right, that's okay. We appreciate the call, Roger. Yeah. Thank you for weighing in.
At least you don't have to be like Samantha Steele and go in and fondle an 80-year-old judge.
Okay. She didn't do that. She did not do that, but clearly there was some favoritism going on. And if a Democrat ever says, if I hear a Democrat ever say, no one is above the law, I will yell out, well, Samantha Steele is. And what message does it send to Chicagoans? Like, you can just, if you do this, so refuse a breathalyzer at the scene. Then they took her to the hospital because she was in a car accident, okay? She hit two parked cars, totaling them. But wait, hold on. Let me finish my thought. And you go to the hospital, and the police are there. You tell the Asian police officer that he has a very small penis, because that's what she did. So she was throwing out insults. Everybody testified she was slurring her words. She refuses to take a urine test and a blood test. That I didn't think you had an option.
I didn't either. But the other thing is, you said that the media didn't even cover the story, really. That's a travesty.
C Block right before Weather and Sports, and it was just a VO. Crazy. All right, real quick before we go, big shout out to Peter, otherwise known as Squirrel Hands. Today he is 30 years old. Happy birthday, Peter. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on The Real Story.